Hey, it's Michael Christopher. Believe it's October 28th. Uh, just checking in, spreading the word of corruption in the state of Connecticut and corruption with the East Hartford Police Department and Hartford Healthcare, having to do with red flag laws in the state of Connecticut and pushing people into mental health involuntarily. I was harassed by the police, state police and East Hartford police, for 2 weeks, starting on April 18th. That rolled into my family calling, my Aunt Patricia initiating a wellness check simply for me saying goodbye at the end of a conversation. That rolled into three more wellness checks, which ended up when I figured out my family was manipulating me, trying to push me into manipulating my mental health. I said, screw this. Like my neighbors were harassing me. Just got finished at my place of work where they were trying to make it out like I was going to bring a gun or something to work. And everything's starting to connect now, with how the state of Connecticut has put this together. And I'm going to keep spreading the word that it's not right. So I had to get out of the East Hartford for a little while because there's some other stuff going on. Really, I can't get too much in depth here, but it got to a point where I tried to confront my mother about the evidence that I have acquired of her triangulating with my aunt, saying that to misrepresent facts, telling them to make stuff up just so they could take me away. I've got text message of her talking to my adopted father, Richard Goldsboro, who it's weird because she got these group text messages going with all my family members, and saying stuff. But one thing that really got to me is that she started individually texting Richard Goldsboro. And this is a guy who, come to find out, just a couple of weeks ago, she made it a point to tell me over and over again that this guy peed on her and tied her up. And like when I was trying to express to her how much I've been taken advantage of and manipulated, she was saying, "Well, you need to get over it. I've been peed on. I've been beaten. I've been tied up." Yeah, but that was years ago. I literally have just been manipulated by my family and taken advantage of by the state of Connecticut, pushed into mental health. And it's not right. But I have acquired a lot of information here, and one thing I need to speak on. There's quite a few things, but so I ended up talking to my mom. The way it came out is I ended up finding alcohol in my nephew's room. I called him, let him know I found the alcohol in the room. That was it for me. That led to all of a sudden my dad coming home, David Risk, and rounding up the boys, sitting us down. This led to Sebastian saying that he'd threatened my life, saying I got a small dick, saying I got kicked out of the military. And I couldn't help but think, where's all this information coming from? I couldn't help but at the time, but I didn't think anything of it, So then all of a sudden we're in the kitchen and my mom calls, what's going on? And she wants to talk over the phone. And knowing her style, I say, I don't feel comfortable talking to you over the phone. I'll rather talk to you in person. I don't want to upset you at work right now, but she refused. And I said, I don't want to talk to you over the phone. I'll talk to you later when you get home. You're at work right now. What does she say? All of a sudden she says, okay, I'm coming home right now. So 20 minutes come home. She sits us down. I start talking to her. And she's just not listening to me. I got quite a bit of the conversation recorded that we had that day. And once it reached a point where I caught her up and a lot of her lies, she just all of a sudden said, "Get out of my house," started screaming at me. And I said, well, yeah, I'll get out, but call the cops because I got to get this on record. So she called the cops, and, you know, I was perfectly fine with the cops. They had me talk to a social worker, answer what I had to answer. But what they told my mom is they can't kick me out. She would have to evict me. All right. So at this point in time, I said I'm sick of. I've got enough evidence for myself to say that I've been manipulated in everything that's going on. Literally, they were. My mother worked with my 15-year-old nephew Sebastian to kind of set the scene like I was gonna hurt someone, and that couldn't be further from the truth. He's the one who came down with a baseball bat after saying he was going to kill me. So I said, I'm not going back in the house. I'll leave now. I'll leave, so I left. I left last Wednesday. But the very interesting thing is next day I sent her the evidence that she didn't want to go over. The text messages of her pretty much manipulating me through family members, and of her talking to my aunt Patty, saying if you need to fabricate this, and I've still got that information. But the interesting thing is, it's been I just checked my text messages. It's been wiped clean from the text messages. Very strange, and it makes me wonder what's really going on here. But this is just what I got to say for October 28th. That said, I'm perfectly fine. And one of the main reasons I'm making these videos is the state of Connecticut has taken away my rights to own a gun by illegally detaining me, throwing me in the back of the cop car, and involuntarily committing me. They took me to Hartford Hospital, and I didn't get a fair shake there. I signed paperwork to see a judge that day, and they lost the paperwork. And then they just institutionalized me for 27 or 28 days, from May 20th to June 17th. And the day before I was supposed to see a judge. They played the system on me. But the main reason I'm making these videos, more than anything, is for myself. Because when someone makes you out to be a threat to society, and they mass manipulate you to try to make you out to be something that you're not, it's very unsettling. And this is just the tip of the iceberg of what I need to get into, because I don't even want to go over it because it just sounds ridiculous, and it doesn't sound right. But I've lived through it, and I'm going to tell my story. All right, thank you very much. Bye-bye.